9:35, the time 70 degrees, AM 650, Kgab Radio. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Glad to have these folks in here because I've been watching stories pop up all over the place. So here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, First Presbyterian Church, 150 years in the area. That's
and
incredible.
that big word, sesquicentennial.
I can't do that. And I talk for a living. Okay, so Patty and... There's no other name here. Bob is here. There's no Bob sitting here. Okay, it's not on my piece of paper. But anyway, we'll talk about 150 years. Is that the church being in Cheyenne, or is that the building that we see?
That's the founding of the church. It was founded in 1869 when 9 people decided there should be a Presbyterian church here in Cheyenne. Wow. This is actually our 3rd building. The first 2 buildings were in another location. It was a wooden building first, and then a red brick building. Right. And then the building that you see that we're in now was built in 1924 or 1923. So it's been there almost 90 years.
Wow. And that, as you said, if you're in downtown Cheyenne and you hear those bells around noontime, that's you guys.
That's us. Yep.
Okay. Now, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Is it actually the bells, or is that a recording?
That is a recording. Okay. We don't have literally bells up there. We have a recording, and that allows us to, you'll hear different music through the times of seasons and different days. So it's a simple recording.
Yeah, just a recording of that. Okay, the reason I asked that is not to get too far away. My sister is in Lake Wales, Florida. Look up Bach Tower.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Massive, beautiful tower at the top of what Florida calls a hill. But it's really big. It's beautiful. There's gardens up there. It's stunningly beautiful. And those bells are played by only 3 people in the world know how to play them. And there's different hammers they pull down and so on. It looks like an organ, but with big things to grab and pull and so on. Yeah. And they put on concerts every single year with loads of bells. So I listened to that and I thought, either you have some automation binging the bells because you don't have a person in your life, or some kind of recording. Okay. Yeah. So are there real bells up there still?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't been up to the bell tower. I need to go up and see sometime.
All right. First Presbyterian Church, here's a quiz for you. First minister.
Reverend Gage, is that correct?
Well, Sheldon Jackson was the missionary who started the church. I think Reverend Gage was the first
he
pastor.
Showed up about when?
1870.
Right. Didn't know there's going to be a pop quiz, did you? About 1870.
You've caught me, Glenn.
Now, since then, it's gone quite a bit. What is your membership now?
We have about 400 people in membership.
Yeah.
So,
with really lousy parking, by the way, because I see you guys all over the place. Honestly, I go walking on Sundays when I'm supposed to be in church with my heathen butt, but I'm out there walking because it's a beautiful day, and I see you guys parked all over the place. But still, people have no problem parking and walking several blocks to go to the church.
No, and we're in competition with parking with the church that's kitty corner from us, which is a Catholic church. So sometimes they take our spots and we take their spots. You take our shots.
Okay, so there's the war going on.
And we do have parking available across Cary Avenue as well.
Oh, sure. And I don't know, there's some places that volunteer parking for you guys. You can get in there. Now, what's it look like if can people just walk in and take a look?
Oh, of course. And actually, we're inviting the community to come in on Friday evening, May 17th. That's this Friday. We're having kind of an open house, and it starts at 6 p.m.
6 to 7:30.
And it's an opportunity to come in and see not only our beautiful historic building and our warm, inviting building, but also our warm, inviting people from our church. And our building is known for its stained glass windows, and there's a great history and great stories to be told with our stained glass windows in the church. And that evening time when the sun is shining is a beautiful time to come see them. So we're going to be serving hors d'oeuvres that evening, and we're going to have an ice cream bar, make your own ice cream sundae bar, kind of a throwback to those ice cream socials of old. And we really want to invite the entire community of Cheyenne to come and share with us that evening. Another event that we're inviting the entire community of Cheyenne to is our Sunday morning worship this coming Sunday on May 19th at 10 a.m. We're going to have a really wonderful celebratory worship. Again, you'll get to see our sanctuary, but it will be filled with our congregation, and we hope many visitors that day as well. And we've invited many of the pastors who have served this church over the past 50 years to participate in that service. And we have a special commissioned piece of music that our choir will be performing. You'll hear our handbell choir, and as well as a wonderful message. I know, Bob.
Well, thank you.
So you're delivering that message.
I am. I'm the senior pastor.
Okay. Now, the question about, she said something about the lighting that caught my attention. Is there a certain, not just time of day, but time of year when that light comes just right through that stained glass?
Well, our building is beautifully situated where the sun shines in all throughout the year. So I wouldn't say that there's one particular time of year where it's more exquisite than others, but we have windows on all four sides of our building. And so no matter when it is or what time of year it is, those windows are always spectacularly beautiful. And some people who've been in our main sanctuary have seen the windows in the sanctuary, but they haven't been into our chapel, and the windows in the chapel are really special too.
Where did the stained glass come from?
It came from Descenzio Art Studio in Pittsburgh. And I have a funny story I want to share with you about that. When the windows were first ordered, this big company in Pittsburgh wasn't sure that these majestic windows would be appropriate for a church in Wyoming. They were thinking there was going to be a little wooden church, And so the story goes that Mr. Descenzio brought his son here for Frontier Days and called, at the time it was called my dad, who was the pastor of the church, and said, hey, can I bring my grandson to come, or son or grandson, I don't remember which right now, to come and see the windows in the church? So my dad said, sure, let me give you a tour. And they set up a time. And so Mr. Descenzio came in, and he came into the sanctuary the first time, and he breathed a huge sigh of relief, and he said, they are appropriate. He was worried about their appropriateness for the space, and they really are appropriate for this beautiful, majestic space.
You have some family history then.
I do have some family history with the church. My family's been involved with the church for 5 generations. And fortunately for me, I have 2 generations of those. My grandfather, Dr. Pattison, and my dad, Reverend Dr. Walkley, both served as pastors of this church.
Wow.
Yeah. And my dad was the pastor of the church when we celebrated our 100th celebration 50 years ago. So it's pretty special to be able to.
Here's what you get her to do. I have aunts and uncles, which they go way back, and they're all getting old, and we're not going to have them much longer.
Right.
And so a few years ago, I wrote to all of them and said, aunts, uncles, I want you to write our family history as you remember it. And they all did and sent it in, and I compiled it into a book, which I printed up, of the history of our family as they remember it for the family. So since she goes back and has several pastors, and obviously she's your historian, just saying, senior pastor.
Well, one of the things we have coming out as a part of this celebration, Glenn, is a book celebrating the 150 years. It's a collection of the first 100 years that was already written and then updated for 150. And it really is a thorough examination of the whole history. It's a great collection that will be we'll put together, and it'll be there for people to have at the celebration.
So can they get it? The celebration is going to be available anywhere else in town, bookstores?
I don't know if any place else, but it'll be at all 3 events we're doing, and it'll always be available at the church. If someone wants one, we could come on in. And
just a thought. You are right next to this museum here.
Yes, the State Museum.
That's right. I would and they have a store.
Yes, they do.
True.
Yeah, I would just walk over with a bunch of them and say, here, sell 61 degrees, one of those up, and I'd expect to get some autographs. What's your message going to be on the 150th anniversary?
Well, there's a passage in Hebrews that says, now that we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us continue to pursue I'm not quoting it exactly, forgive me, but it's now let us continue with the journey of promoting the gospel of Jesus Christ and continue that message. And so that's going to be my main passage for Sunday morning, that we are surrounded by a great history of people here in Cheyenne who have been faithful to the gospel of spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. And now we have been recipients of that work, and now we continue it on for the next 150 or more years of continuing that message. That's going to be my main focus.
Okay. Did we miss out on any other events?
No, I was just going to say it's so exciting having been a part of the process of planning this celebration that we've spent quite a bit of time looking back, of course, and gathering the history and telling the stories of the past. But we're also really excited about embracing the future of this congregation and the congregations that will continue to serve God with joy and enthusiasm and energy in the next 150 years and many, many generations to come. And we really want to lay the foundation for not only remembering the past, but embracing the future. The only other event that we haven't mentioned is that we're having a celebration dinner at the Kiwanis Community House in Lyons Park on Saturday night. And it was a reservation-only dinner, so we've already collected our reservations, and we'll be telling many stories that night as well. But unfortunately, the time for reservations has closed. But we will be continuing to tell those stories not only on Friday night as we have our open house, but also on Sunday morning. And one of the cool things we're going to do, I think it's kind of neat, is we're going to take a congregational photo on Sunday morning following our worship.
Wow, that's a wine angle.
Right?
Yeah.
And we also are going to have a bagpiper who's going to play us into and out of worship, I believe. So we have some really cool things planned.
Okay. Can people find us on social media or website, anything like that? We
have a Facebook website, First Presbyterian Church. It has a lot of the information about it and a lot of our history. So,
all right. Go there.
Absolutely. And we just want to invite everybody to come. And I also want to tell about an upcoming event, which is our Vacation Bible School, which has always been very successful. And it's coming up the evenings of June 17th through 20th. So we want to invite all those, especially families. It's in the evening, so our whole families can participate in our Vacation Bible School.